So, to the casual observer, this scene looks like a group of college students enjoying a night out, laughing, socializing, maybe heading to a party. But for those of us in the campus safety world, we see more than just a night of fun. I see a young female freshman, new to campus, navigating independence and at a heightened risk of sexual assault. I see an athlete celebrated on the field, but possibly facing hazing behind closed doors. I see a sorority sister ordering a ride share, unaware that her driver may pose a threat. And I see a young man away from home for the first time, struggling silently with loneliness and alcohol misuse. These are the moments when having the right tools can make all the difference. That's where uSafeUS comes in. It's why we created this solution. Our app empowers students to protect themselves and their friends, whether it's using virtual escorts, accessing emergency contacts, or discreetly signaling for help. And when they need support, uSafeUS connects them directly to campus resources, law enforcement, counseling, Title IX, and more. So no student has to navigate a crisis alone. For campus law enforcement professionals, uSafeUS is more than a tool. It's a partner in prevention, response, and student well-being. So thank you so much for joining us here today. We are the uSafeUS team from the Prevention Innovations Research Center at the University of New Hampshire. We are pioneers in bystander intervention, and for 20 years, we have been developing strategies in campus violence prevention and response. My name is Lori Daw, and I manage our client relationships. I'm joined today by our co-founder and co-director, Dr. Sharon Potter, and our director of technology, Kim Hobbs. And today we are here to talk with you about uSafeUS, a campus safety and wellness app. It is based upon research that we have done at our research center and designed by a team of students, parents, administrators, subject matter experts, victims advocates, and law enforcement professionals. We are using the power of technology to deliver tools and strategies to students and campus communities to keep them safe and healthy. So we have really embraced a community approach to campus safety and wellness. Students using the uSafeUS app are empowered to take care of themselves and their friends. Faculty and staff have reliable answers to questions that they receive when students approach them for help. And these answers have been developed with things like mandatory reporting laws in mind. So we've really developed a comprehensive approach that is fully customizable to your college campus. Each campus has its own set of regulations, its own set of resources, and this tool allows you to add all that in where students and other members of the community can find it in one easy and comprehensive place. It ends the need to go searching through different web pages and delivers everything they need right in their hands. So these are the important points to remember about the uSafeUS app. We are meeting students where they are, which, as we all know, is on their phone. We've centralized all the information. So things that they need, like reporting forms, resources that may be found on your college campus or in the wider community, are right there for them. We've given them prevention tools and then a strong set of response tools and resources. We include an administrator dashboard that contains all anonymized data But what it does is it lets someone, a leader on your campus community who has access to it, see what is going on your college campus. Again, it's anonymized, but they'll be able to see what different features are being used, when they're being used, and provide important data in their prevention and response efforts. And finally, when we bring uSafeUS to your campus, we like to make it really easy for you. So we have a whole library of supporting materials geared towards parents, geared towards different subsets of the community like athletics, RAs, all sorts of different people, Greek life, to boost engagement and really get the word out there so that your students in particular are pointed in the right direction, either to keep themselves safe or to know what to do should the unthinkable happen to them. And again, this sort of gives you a broad outline of the sort of features that you will find on the uSafeUS app. All things Title IX are contained right on the app. So this just makes it easy for students to find. You're more likely to report if you know what your options are and you have the appropriate forms and appropriate contacts to talk with. We have developed an entire set of training modules. So again, right there on the phone where people can find them. We have direct messaging with your student population through push notifications. So while this is different from an emergency notification that may come out over a safety tool like Rave Guardian, this is a direct connection with your students to give any sort of messaging that you might want to get out there campus wide. We are providing everyone with the resources specific to their campus. So again, fully customizable. They know where to turn. Oftentimes students, especially those new to a campus community, don't even know what resources are available to them. So we are careful to make sure that everything that they need is available to them on the app. And here is a video that we've created. It's only 80 seconds, but it will give you a nice overview of the uSafeUS app.
So we know that you are all too aware of the issues that college students face that increase their risk of harming themselves or harming others. And these include binge drinking, hazing, and sexual assault. And as a research center, we are constantly trying to meet students where they are and talking with our campus partners at our monthly sandwiched in meetings. And these are partners from all of stakeholders from all of our partner campuses. And earlier this information, some of our college partners were talking about an increase in reports of choking occurring during students' sexual encounters. So immediately we went back and added information about choking to our sexual assault and relationship violence helpful answers. A month or two later, we had two college partners that had young men who were victims of sextortion, and they were dealing with the aftermath of the sextortion perpetrated against their students. So, about a month ago, we released a whole helpful answer section as well as a find help section on sextortion. And again, we are always trying to meet students where they are and understand what threats they're facing. So last month, we were meeting with some of our law enforcement partners, and they talked about the increase that they're seeing in gambling, as well as social withdrawal that can be caused by mental health, as well as some of the extremism websites that some of the students are finding themselves in. So later this month or later in November, we'll be adding information about those two emerging threats. And I think what's really important is that we are pioneers in the development of bystander intervention, proactive bystander intervention strategies. So everything on the app is to help students and other members of their communities identify potentially dangerous situations, as well as how to help a friend.
So we see uSafeUS as a complement to Rave Guardian. We've heard this same thing from law enforcement as well. We see Rave as the emergency-driven infrequent use app where the communications across campus is what Rave Guardian does. It gets the emergency information to everybody across campus, where uSafeUS is more of a go-to app on potentially daily use, go-to app for students to find resources to help themselves or a friend. They can find resources to stay safe in individual situations. They can easily find organizations on and off campus that can be helpful. And as mentioned, we have our helpful answers, which is the Q&A content created by experts. And this content can be reviewed 24/7. So uSafeUS's Stay Safe features help students get out of uncomfortable situations. If a student feels uncomfortable at a party and they need an excuse to leave discreetly, they can use time to leave to schedule themselves a call or a text that looks legitimate, and it gives them an excuse to leave. If a student feels unsafe while walking home, they can use Expect Me to share their GPS location with friends. If someone is uncomfortable on a date at a bar, they can use Angel Drink to show an on-screen menu that looks as if it's a drink menu. They can show it to the bartender or the server, but it is in fact a menu asking for help. So Expect Me. Expect Me helps students feel supported as they travel. But we've heard from law enforcement that it's also, this feature could also be immensely helpful in missing persons situations. So how it works. It empowers students to temporarily share their GPS location. They can enable it any time during the night. And while they're enabling it, they indicate their expected time of arrival, and they choose 6 friends from their contacts to receive a notification that they're on tap to watch them to make sure that they get safely home. Those friends will see a map in their uSafeUS app that shows their friends, the user's location throughout the night. That location sharing goes away as soon as the feature has been deactivated. The friends that were chosen to watch the user get home safe also receive a reminder 15 minutes, a textual reminder 15 minutes before the user's expected arrival, again, making sure that they remember that they're supposed to keep their friends safe. When the user arrives home safe, the expected arrival time has expired, their friends will get a text saying just that they've arrived or that they haven't arrived. Both of those texts do include a map link to the user's last known location. And this can be used in many different ways to help the user. So some highlights. So the information that we keep is the GPS location, and we have pinpoint accuracy. It has the longitude and latitude information about the user's location. We collect that location, those data points, the longitude and latitude, throughout the night, while through the whole duration of while the feature is enabled. But as soon as the user indicates that they've arrived safely, we delete that information. But if the feature expires before the user indicates that they've arrived safely, we save all of that historical longitude and latitude pinpoint accuracy information for 96 hours. We can see this being critical in a missing persons situation.
So tied to leave. This may be one of our most widely used features, and it's because it can be used in a number of different situations. This is the feature where a user can send themselves a fake text or fake call to remove themselves from an uncomfortable or even a potentially dangerous situation. We've spoken to numerous students who have given us different scenarios where they have, in fact, used this and been able to extricate themselves from a situation. And one of the key things is sometimes they need to do it without making a scene. So if they are at a party and they see something happening that they know they shouldn't be a part of, it's much easier to have an excuse to leave via a text, via a call. They can leave without making a scene and just get themselves out of that situation. The person that looks like they're calling or texting you comes from your contact list, but that person never knows that their name has been used. We've spoken with other students who have used this feature to remove themselves from an Uber ride that seemed very scary. One young lady told us that she used the simulated phone call feature to get herself out of an Uber ride and was relieved that she was able to do that. This can be used to get out of a Tinder date gone wrong or any number of other situations. So this is a very valuable tool for these students to have in their pocket. This is the angel drink feature, and I'm sure that many of you are familiar with the concept of the angel shot. That's fairly widely known, where you ask a bartender for an angel shot, which is actually a signal that you are in need of help or an escort outside, or in some way you are feeling threatened and you need their help out of that situation. So we took that concept and we created the angel drink feature. And what this is it's a menu with a series of drink recipes on it that you can show to a bartender. And when you hit the angel drink choice there, it's not actually a menu, but rather a signal to that bartender or server saying, help me, please call the police, or I need help getting out to my car, whatever that may be. Well, this summer, we had a school administrator reach out to us because he heard a compelling story from a young person who had used this feature. Now, as I mentioned before, we always encourage students on our partner campuses to share this with their families. And one young man at a partner campus had given this to his teenage sister. Well, she was out on a weekday going to a water park, driving along, and she noticed that there was a car with several men in it following her. So she was feeling very threatened. She went into a convenience store and the men pulled into the parking lot behind her. So she went in and she remembered she had this on her phone. So she showed the cashier the angel drink feature. And at first, he didn't understand what she was doing, but she was persistent. He got the message and he signaled for the police to come. When they arrived, they arrested the men and found that in the car there were zip ties and photographs of this young girl. So that was a really a big moment for us as the team who've developed this to think that this app feature was able to save this young girl from a potentially horrific situation. But it also got us thinking about the fact that Angel Drink, by its very nature, is somewhat limited in that it works best in a bar or restaurant situation. So our developers went to work and we came up with Angel Map because we determined that anyone can ask for directions anywhere, whether it is on the street, in a retail establishment, wherever that may be. They can discreetly signal for help by under the pretense of asking for directions. So this has been a wonderful development, and I love the little claps. This has been a wonderful development, and just goes to show that the development of this app is iterative, and that we are always listening to our end users, students, young people, whoever that may be, and really bringing their suggestions to our development team to see how we can serve them better.
So now it's always hard to follow Lori's story about the Angel Map, but I want to talk about our support features. And we have three support features that really provide students with the resources, answers, and guidance that you want them to have 24/7, whether they're on or off campus. So we have three main features: find help, helpful answers, and what next. They're completely customizable, but with that said, we have done a ton of work. And so there is a lot of stuff there, and our campus partners are welcome to take what they want or add to what they want. So we work with our partners on those efforts. So the first feature is helpful answers. And right now, the helpful answers are the 8UC, but coming shortly will be gambling and social withdrawal, as we talked about earlier. What's really unique about our helpful answers is their Q&A format, and they're written from three perspectives: from a person who needs the information themselves, from the perspective of a friend or family member who wants to help somebody, and thirdly, the perspective of a faculty or staff person who's seeking guidance and how to help a student. And what's really unique is these answers are written by a collaborative team that includes researchers, students, law enforcement officials, victim advocates, as well as a Title IX lawyer and campus administrators. And it's a very iterative process, and we're constantly updating, adding to this information as things change. And really, in this age of AI, these answers offer insights from human subject matter experts, and they're written from the perspective of folks who are on the ground dealing with these issues day in and day out. And they're written not only with expertise, but with compassion. And again, you note that my colleagues have already said that they are written from the perspective of a family member, because when we administer uSafeUS on a college campus, we don't just want the students to have it. We want their faculty, their professors to have it, all the folks who support the campus life, as well as the folks in the bakeries and the bars downtown where the students go, and the parents and guardians. The What Next feature came about because we know that when students are in crisis, they tend to just spin. And so we wanted to give them grounded information. So what we've developed is a decision tree What Next feature, and it lets a person who's dealing with a crisis or a friend who's trying to help a person dealing with a crisis play out all their options, and in a kind of like a game to kind of see what happens if I do this, if I don't do this. So it gives students literally an opportunity to explore all their options without having to make a decision. And as you can see in the text boxes, these are text boxes we use when we present to the students. We want to reiterate that none of this information is collected, and it just allows students to explore their options and figure out what's best for them for their next steps. So that's the What Next feature. And the third feature is Find Help. And again, this is completely customizable. This is all of the information that college administrators, college law enforcement, victim advocate folks want their students to have in the moment 24/7. And we've made everything on here really easy. All of the reporting forms that we want our students to have, are linked. We even have the links for the counseling center so they can just go to the link and make an appointment. They don't have to scroll through endless websites. So really the goal of this is to just give students the exact information in the moment. This next slide is a slide we often do when we present to members of Greek life or the RAs, is we remind students that their campus has really important policies for amnesty, for hazing, for Title IX. And we want students to, be able to access these policies immediately or access the link to make an appointment at the counseling center immediately. So we work with students and have them bookmark the policies or the resources that are relevant to them. We know you'll appreciate this. We are always constantly reiterating to our students that we meet with across the country about their college amnesty policies, because we want students to always reach out for help, regardless of the situation that they're in, whether it's underage drinking or any type of other questionable situation. And because all of the students know about the reports and they know how to easily access them, we know that it's more likely that students will make these reports, that it'll just be second nature to them and not a big deal. And we know that the more likely that students report and use these reporting forms, the more accurate numbers like Cleary and other numbers that law enforcement and campus officials have to submit will be.
Okay, so in the last year, we have added training to the uSafeUS app. And we really thought hard about how to make this superior to the other training that is out there. We've been really intentional with the way we've set this up, and these are sort of the pillars of the training modules that we have created. We spoke with the campus administrators to find out the challenges of getting people to do the training modules that they need to do, and engagement is always a challenge. So what we've done is we've created micro learning modules. We call them bite size. They can be completed very quickly. One can start taking them and then come back to it later. We just have really tried to deliver this in the most user-friendly way that we can. And again, because it's on the phone, it makes it portable and easy to do whenever people have time to do the training that they need to do. We've also crafted this with the help of our subject matter experts that we have in-house and then across the country. We understand that when the content is relatable and understandable, that the people who are taking the training are going to be able to understand it and retain it. And another unique thing about our training is that it's always there on the phone. So unlike typical training that as you're taking it, you give your answer and it sort of disappears, trainees can go back and look at this information. If they didn't quite understand a concept or there's something they want to refer to, it is right there where they can gain access to it whenever it works for them. And again, when you add all of this up, you make it easy to access and easy to complete. That's how you up your completion numbers. And we know that's really important for our college partners. And so we've worked really closely with them to design training modules that meet all of their needs. And these are the topics that we currently have training modules for. Title IX and sexual misconduct. We're really proud of these because, of course, this is our wheelhouse. We are experts in this field. We have harassment prevention, and we've worked with other partners to create the alcohol and drug awareness ones. So really, we are adding to this library always. Again, it's an iterative process with this app. So this is what we have now and with more to come in the near future. And what we're working on now is making sure that this connects with the learning management systems of our campus partners, which is great because even though oftentimes trainees would rather take this on their phone, it's also available on their computer, and this also helps with understanding and tracking the completion rate. So we've really, again, worked with our partners to make sure this is something that is going to help their campus communities meet their training goals.
So we know privacy is a very important to be considered, and we've focused on that from the day that we started the app until today. We are very cognizant of the information that we collect, and currently we collect the user's phone number and their associated institution. We don't have those two pieces of information together in any one place. So we don't even know which phone numbers are associated with which institutions. We use the phone number in order to execute the expect me and the time to leave features. And we use the associated institution in order to send the push notifications, as well as to generate the anonymous user statistics per institution. We do collect, as mentioned before, the GPS location of the user, but that's only if they've enabled the expect me, and it's only during the duration of the expect me feature. There's no other individual or specific user data that is tracked. And we do not share ever that information with the administrators at the associated institution. That's only, the GPS location would only be shared with law enforcement under emergency situations. So as mentioned before, we are a research center. We are constantly talking with our students, meeting with our students, the Greek life, the athletics, resident assistants, first year students. And we also meet monthly with our campus partners. We have what we call as a sandwiched in, and there's good conversation between the partners and with us, indicating, their current societal, issues that they're dealing with and their needs. So we're always refining and augmenting the solution, the app. And just to mention some of the things that are coming, we are working with the University of Florida on a National Institute of Health grant to add alcohol and misuse protective behavioral strategies. And what this amounts to is we have a three-phase feature where the user will plan their evening. They'll plan how many drinks they plan to have, the tools that they're going to use to keep themselves safe, what time they want to come home, those kinds of things. During the evening, they will track their drinks, which will be compared against their plan. We will send out in-app messages and text messages to remind them of their plan, to kind of give them some guidance, some encouragement, and some tools to maybe find their way out of a situation. I think one of the messages is something like how to, nicely refuse a drink. And then the next day, they can do a check-in where they just reflect on how the evening went. And then they can make some adjustments for next time, potentially. We have added into our Find Help resources, the gambling prevention resources. So we've aggregated a bunch of websites where someone could go and get some guidance. We've added to, or will be adding to, the helpful answers, the Q&A content with a new category, social withdrawal. We've learned about this through our conversations with law enforcement and our campus partners. And this will be able to assist individuals to see themselves potentially and get help, or a friend to potentially see the user or see a friend potentially suffering with this as well.
So uSafeUS has been on college campuses since 2018. As I mentioned, we are a research center based at the University of New Hampshire, and we were fortunate to get funding from the New Hampshire Attorney General's office to put uSafeUS on every college campus in the state. So that was the beginning. And while we've been there, we've been working on the app, making changes to it, to develop it into the app that you see today. And again, we also encourage family and everyone else. So these numbers are actually probably low. This may be the number of students roughly, but this really has been in the hands of so many more people. And right now, we have just begun a really solid push to go national. So we're in several other states across the country at this point. And really, our mission is to get this research-based technology, these tools, these resources into the hands of as many students as we can. And that's where we find ourselves right now, really trying to push this out across the country and into as many students' hands as we can.
So don't take it just from us. You can see some testimonials on the screen. We have a testimonial from our very own Chief of Police, Paul Dean, and a past president of IACLEA. And he called uSafeUS a game changer in the campus safety. Other testimonials come from our students. One of them says it's a 5 apps in 1. Someone else says it helps me feel in control. Another student says, an RA, a resident assistant, says, I will be referring this to all of their residents that semester. They felt compelled that it was something that every single one of their residents needed to have. And then another student said it's very convenient in referring to all of the Find Help features. So it's very convenient to have all of this as an app on their phone.
So we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. And, just some thoughts about why you should trust uSafeUS with your college prevention and response efforts. We are national leaders in campus prevention and response. We have been working together as a research center for over 20 years, and some of us have many more years of experience than that. And we are pioneers in the development of pro-social bystander intervention strategies. And this has been our mission over as a research center. We've also been fortunate enough to receive funding from the National Institute of Justice, as well as the Department of Justice and the National Science Foundation. And we've also been subject matter experts for the U.S. Army, the former Secretary of the Navy, and we've also worked with Pentagon leadership on some committees that oversaw policies for the entire Department of Defense. And I think what's really unique about us is that everything we do is a research practitioner partnership. We're constantly hearing feedback, collaborating with law enforcement, with campus administrators, with students, and then all of this research goes back to our campus partners. So we feel really fortunate. And if you are interested, and we're hoping that you're interested in bringing uSafeUS to your colleges, as my colleagues have really pointed out, we never drop the app and run. We kind of like blanket you with all sorts of support, whether we support all your implementation efforts, we supply all the engagement materials. And again, we're constantly meeting with our partners to improve the app. And just some of our law enforcement colleagues have told us some of the areas where the nominal funds to bring uSafeUS to your campus would fit in are crime prevention budgets, accreditation budgets, and community policing.
Okay, again, thank you for joining us. And as a thank you, we are going to do a drawing for a complimentary 1-year uSafeUS license for one of your college campuses. So we'll be reaching out to the winner of that one. So thank you. And what we'd really like to know is, do you have any questions for us now that you've sort of seen the app and we've had the chance to explain a little bit about what it could offer to your college campuses? Any questions?
And so while we're having question and answers, we do invite you to download the app today. So the instructions are on the screen and it's very simple. You can just download it from the App Store, either Google Play or the Apple App Store. It'll ask you for your phone number. You can, and then it will send you a verification code via text. And then once you're in the app, you'll need to select an institution, so one of the colleges, so that it will bring in the customized information. And we're just recommending you choose demo college. So you would type in demo and then it will show you that as an option. And then you can just choose that and then discover the power of uSafeUS for yourself. And if you do have any other questions beyond today, you can reach out to Lori, and her contact information is on the slide. So if you have questions, you can put them into the chat.
So I'm going to stop sharing just for a minute because I can't see anybody. Okay, I have to reshare it again.
There you go.
I feel like we've given you a lot of information.
I have a question. Sorry. Uh, Rob Kilfoyle, and I'm the president of Viaclia. So thank you very much for demonstrating your product to us. I may have missed this because I was a couple of minutes late coming in from another webinar that I was on, but customization to the school, is there an opportunity within the app to, put your school's logo or and can you, is there a way to link to campus, either the public safety or the police department's phone numbers, like automatically call, like if they need security or police response, there's like a one button kind of, yeah.
Yes, I
Thank
want
you.
to.
Yeah, yes to both. When we do customize the app for your campus, one of the things is your logo, and it shows up in the upper left of the app. And yeah, as part of the find help sections or categories, campus policing is one of those categories. And then the campus can put whatever resources they want in there, as a quick connect. And yeah, they could put that in one of their bookmarks, and then they open the app and then they tap it right at the bookmark.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I was just going to show you it. Oh,
Sure.
okay. So right here, like just what if you look under the UNH Police Department, the next thing would be the phone number, just like Kim is explaining.
Gotcha. Okay. And is there a way to, and if you don't, maybe something to consider, like submitting a tip or creating people taking photos with their cameras or, their time. And it might be an interesting idea to be able to, send photos and or video to law enforcement, campus law enforcement, if they witness an incident taking place or somebody suspicious that they see, if you snap a photo and it can send it to the police department, and then almost immediately they have that photo and know who to look for. Just an idea. If you don't already have that, then that's an idea for future release.
We don't have that right now. We do have like the hazing tip lines and the different tip lines that the schools have, but we don't have one where as of yet. But I love that idea of being able to upload a photo or a video.
Sure.
Yep, agreed.
So is there a website that, like, how do people typically submit those now? Is it a text phone number that would be that the video and the photo would be sent to?
That or an email. We have an
Okay.
existing safety app on our campus. It was through I forget the company. I should know this. App Armor. They were bought up by Rave. They were a Canadian company, but they have many schools in the US as well. And they have a feature that allows us to do that. And I think it either sends us a text or an email to
Okay.
a specific account that says, here's my tip, or here's
Yeah.
a report, that kind of thing.
Okay. We don't have it positioned as a tip line, but part of the resource for like if campus police. So I think the screen shows UNH campus police. Underneath that, it's all kinds of contact information. You can say, phone, you can say text, you can have email. And so right there, there's the email that they can send it to. So it's not, placed as a tip line, but we do have the ability for them to email you and to text you.
Yeah. And many police departments or public safety departments also have online reporting capabilities within their, so it might be able to provide a link to that report form. Like it's amazing actually how many sort of anonymous reports my team gets weekly, saying, there's somebody weird in the library, or there's, I saw somebody with a gun. Fortunately those turn out to be false, but that kind of stuff does come in through that service.
We have it right here as a UNH incident report form, and that goes right to the police.
Okay, perfect.
And we have for all of the colleges that we work with that have it, we have that information there for them.
Fantastic.
If there's a way to connect to it digitally, we can add it to the app.
Sure.
There's many resources underneath each, or many contact ways underneath each resource.
Perfect.
So I see a question in the chat that says, what is the time frame on a response from the vendor to a text or a concern? I'm not sure I understand the question. Like, we are the conduit to allow the text or concern to be placed. It is then in the hands of the law enforcement or the other resource that was contacted to respond. So we're the conduit connecting the students to those resources. Then, like I said, it's up to the resource to respond.
Yes, I had placed that question. I just was interested to find out if a student uses the app, how fast will the student get a response back? Confirming or validating that they are using the app properly, or like I said, just say if a student is in a bad situation, how fast will they get a response back?
Yeah, I think my answer still stands. So I think it really is, we are the conduit. We give them the access, the quick access on where to find and the resource and who to contact. And then it really is up to the person or the organization that was contacted to respond. So yeah.
There's
So
no
hopefully,
deadline like in Rave, like a Rave app that it's mandated that they need to respond within such and such minutes from the text. With your app, there is nothing mandated in regards to a time frame.
nothing that we mandate.
No, okay.
But when you use our app, you're immediately connected with the counseling center, with the police department, with whatever resource that student needs or that person helping the student needs. So they can either text them or call them or email them.
Right. So if Rave has a deadline put in place, then that is coming through to Rave from the campus organization, from the police. So Rave is connected directly to the police station. And so what's communicated in Rave, I suspect, is coming from the policies and response times of that police department. And because uSafeUS connects you to the same exact resources that Rave would, then the response time would be the same, would be required to be the same based on that police department's policies, response policies.
Anything else? Any other questions for us?
I'm good.
All right. Well, we're so grateful for this opportunity and for our partnership with IACLEA. It's been great. So please feel free to reach out if we can provide any other information or if any of your colleagues are interested. We're always happy to meet with potential partners and tell them our story and see if we'd be a good partner for them.
Great.
On behalf of IACLEA, thank you very much for your webinar. We are putting this recording on Connections, so it will be available to all IACLEA members. So those of you who have attended today, if you would, when you see that posted on Connections, if you could share with your colleagues, that would be appreciated as well.
Wonderful.
Thank you
Have a great
all.
day, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.